Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Monday the 27th of May 2024. And today's Mill news, not a lot going on, not a lot of solid stuff going on, but we do have this. This is from TottenhamHotspurNews.com. That noble and well-regarded website. Wow, exactly. So exclusive coverage. So, Japhet Tanganga to hold off on permanent Tottenham exit despite Millwall agreement. John Wenham believes Japhet Tanganga will hold off on joining Millwall despite the Championship side reaching a transfer agreement with Tottenham. The owner of the reputable Spurs podcast, Lily White Rose, claims that the centre-back and his agent will be keen to assess their options. Tanganga spent the second half of last season on loan at the Den, where he made quite the impact as he helped the Lions to avoid relegation from the Championship. As per Fabrizio Romano, Millwall and Spurs have agreed on a deal for the permanent transfer of the defender, with Tanganga now set to make a decision. But Wenham, speaking exclusively to Tottenham News, believes the 25-year-old won't be in any rush to make a decision. I think Tanganga will hold out on a move, Wenham said. His agent will be making other clubs aware of the fee, which has been agreed with Millwall, to see if anyone else wants to match it. I expect this to run for a little while, but Tanganga will be pleased to know that he's got that option there. I think Millwall will be relaxed too. He was outstanding for them, and I'm sure they'll give him some time to think about it. For Tottenham, they know he will go on a permanent this summer, which is good news. It has been clear from day one that there was no room for Tanganga under Ange Postecoglou, were he to return to North London, he would find himself quite far down the pecking order. A permanent transfer is therefore the best solution for both the player and Spurs. Whether he wants to return to Millwall remains to be seen, and while he won't be in any rush to sign in his future before June, Postecoglou will be keen for the Englishman to move on sooner rather than later. So yeah, there you go. What is it? What is this though? It's the opinion of someone who runs a Tottenham podcast. Yeah. Here's the thing. What does it say there? What does it say? Where are we going? The 25-year-old, 25 years old. He's got 5 years left. 5 years left. And then he'll be looking at retiring. Because he'll be 31 and he'll be staring down the end now. He might be able to go on for another 2 or 3 years, but at what level? So you could understand why he could want to try and make it into, I need to get as much money as I can. Because I've got 5 years left. And this is the sad reality of the world we live in now, that you have these Premier League teams that soak up all the young talent, keep them on the books year after year after year, loan them out here, there, everywhere, here alone, there alone, everywhere alone. And then in a blink of an eye, you're 24, you're 25, you've barely played any football in this country at any level. You've had loans in the Netherlands, and other clubs are in Belgium and whatever, or in League One, and you're 25 and you're like, well, you had potential when you were a young lad. You're not a young lad anymore. You've got 5 years left, and they kick him out the door. That's sad, isn't it? That's how it goes. And then they realise, they're like, oh, hang on. And they're faced with the potential. They obviously, here's the thing: they wouldn't be at that club if they weren't any good. But was it potential? Was it actually anything good there? Obviously, we've had Tanganga at Millwall. We know how good he is. But a lot of the players, they're obviously trying to capitalise on the connection that they are at a Premier League club and just get as much money as they can. They don't care about football. They don't care about playing. They just want to get as much money as they can, because they've wasted their life from the age of 16 to 24. Instead of having a career, they were just an investment for a Premier League football team. And it's kind of sad to see, but there you go. And it's going to keep happening as long as the Premier League are allowed to do what they do, signing players. Obviously, various rules have been brought in to stop them from doing that, like the distance from the training ground. They've just set up, in the separate training grounds in London, like Manchester have a place in London, so they can just get around the rules. Whatever rules you put in, they get around it. And it's just going to keep happening. So I understand why Tanganga would want to try and get as much money as he can, because he's got 5 years left, and then he's going to be looking at retiring. And unless he's got something else up his sleeve outside of football, it's going to be a long time, and that money needs to last a long time. So there you go. And to be honest, it's not looking good if we get in a bidding war with anyone. News of Ipswich coming in, which obviously I suspected they would. I think we're competing with them for any kind of players. They're in our kind of catchment area in terms of where they could get. And obviously, players from Ipswich, from Suffolk, you're looking at Essex and North London. That would be players from West Ham and Tottenham. So that's it, isn't it? So yeah, if we're in a bidding war with teams in our own league, we're going to struggle, let alone being in a bidding war with a team in the Premier League. Now, if they try and nickel and dime him and try and think, well, we want to sign you, but we're not paying this, we're going to pay that, and then it's up to him, and we'll see. So there you go. Yeah, is it? I don't think it's not looking good, is it? See, this was obviously the news that the fee was agreed a while ago, and it looks like they're just trying to get interest and offers from other people, and then we have to wait to see how that turns out. But there you go. Always the way, isn't it? Always the way. Now, moving on to this from the southernnews.co.uk. I'm always optimistic. Millwall boss Neil Harris gives his England Euros prediction and explains where the Three Lions might fall short. There are less than 3 weeks to go until the summer tournament gets underway. Neil Harris is optimistic over England's chances this summer, but had reservations over one part of the team. The Three Lions are one of 24 countries who will be looking for glory at the European Championships in Germany as they look to build on the progress they have made at major tournaments over the last 6 years. Gareth Southgate named a provisional 33-man squad for the Euros last week, firing the starting pistols for weeks of build-up and anticipation before England's opening game against Serbia. And Millwall boss Harris believes England have a chance of making real progress but had concerns over the defence. He told News at Den, as a massive England fan, I'm always optimistic. I always hope for a final appearance. We've done brilliantly under Gareth Southgate. What's missing is that success that we all crave. We've had a very talented group of players. My gut feeling is that we'll do really well and probably just fall short because I'm not sure we have the defensive capability to be able to keep a clean sheet when absolutely needed in a tight game. I think we'll certainly get to the last 4. Midfielder George Honeyman was also hopeful that England could be punchy during the summer tournament. He said, I feel like we always get written off a little bit, but under Southgate we've been pretty effective, so I'm going to go for semi-final minimum. While defender Ryan Leonard said, I think we can get to the semi-finals at worst. I mean, if you look at the squad they've got, they should be on the verge of being in the final or winning the tournament. It would be nice to get as far as possible, and I'm sure the lads will be doing their utmost to do that. But I'm not someone who likes to put too much pressure on people. I'm sure they'll do the country proud and do their best, which is all you can ask. And there you go. So, now, that was basically it. So, we're moving on to this. Just the latest look at the players that are being released. They are out of contract. Are there any gems that you can see here? Weirdly and bizarrely, we are still waiting for a number of teams. Obviously, understandable in the Premier League, their season has just finished a week ago. But in the Championship, we're still waiting for the announcement to be made for Cardiff. What's going on in Cardiff? Does this signal trouble ahead for Cardiff? What's going on there? Kind of bizarre. Ipswich, Leeds, and Leicester. Is this a thing that we need to look for with Ipswich? If Ipswich release certain players, does that mean that Tanganga may or may not be going there? I don't know. Interesting stuff. Southampton obviously winning the playoffs. Waiting to see who they release. Is there anyone we should be looking at here? One player that did catch my eye, Sam McCallum from Norwich City. Don't know too much about him. Obviously, I mostly focus on Millwall. Don't really look around the league at what everyone else is doing. Sam McCallum, left back. Left back, and he grew up in Herne Bay, so there you go. He is a local lad, so maybe that might be a factor. But there you go. Being released by Norwich. Now, is he being released because they want to get rid of him, or is he being released because Norwich have got financial problems? That is the thing now. A lot of these players, maybe they're not trying to release them. They don't want to release them. They just have to. Because whoever's out of contracts, we need to cut the budget. So, sadly, it's them. So maybe not. I don't know. What do you think, Sam McCallum? Do you know him? Do you think he's any good? He's a young player, certainly a lot younger than Joe Bryan. Is he as good as him? I don't know. Can he play is he actual left back or is he a left wing back? Yeah, I don't know. Do we need a left back? Obviously not a priority, but if we do sign him, then you would think that probably will they be looking to move Joe Bryan on? Maybe keep Joe Bryan. Obviously, Danny McNamara is doing a fantastic job as a stand-in there, but is that where he's going to be playing now? Or is he just doing the job to fill in for other people? You imagine if Joe Bryan comes back, he's going to go in, but the way Joe Bryan's defending, he gets skinned a lot. So, if we can get a younger, quicker left back, is that an option? Maybe, maybe not. Obviously, we have Malachi, but he might be used further forward. We don't know. I'm going to hazard a guess and think that McCallum's probably better than Malachi, seeing that he's played a fair few times in the Championship. One player that did bring a note to me, John Daddy Budvarsson. Remember him? Yeah, he's available on a free. John Marquis. Loads of former Millwall players featuring on this list, and we wish them all well as they look to find a new club to play for next season. Now, business, not a lot of business. This is from bbc.co.uk. This is how basically I'm tracking the transfers during the close season, and there is basically no business being conducted by any Championship teams at the moment. Now, that's not a surprise. League 2 and League 1 finished a week earlier than the Championship because of the way Wembley was available for the playoffs. If I only saw at the weekend, you had the FA Cup final on the Saturday, you had the Championship playoff final on the Sunday. So usually they do all three on the they do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They couldn't do that. They had to change it up, and considering that, I think the EFL got the keys to Wembley at like 3 a.m. or something. They did a fantastic job turning it around from the FA Cup to the EFL Championship promotion final. So there you go. We have a few movements here. So like I said, not a lot of business in the Championship. There is one, I think there's two, actually. That's two. The busiest clubs have been Stockport and Rotherham. Obviously not in our league, but Coventry City signing a player from Australian team. Now, that may be interesting because I don't know about this lad, but there has been a situation at this club from Australia, MacArthur, of spot fixing, of what you've seen with Pacatar, yellow cards, betting from, I think they said Ecuador, some betting in South America. Some YouTube channel that I've watched a few videos of, Zealandism. Yeah, they're talking about MacArthur and the spot fixing. There's been arrests in New South Wales, so if this lad is involved in that and they've just spent money signing him up, that could be an advantage to us if Coventry City have one of their players arrested or banned or suspended for quite some time. And then we move. Obviously, these are the dates that the transfers were announced. They won't actually go through until I think it's the 14th of June. That's when the window opens. But you can see not a lot going on. So in the Championship, in terms of coming in, just this one here, Stoke. Victor Johansson, that goalkeeper from Rotherham, who did very well, faced a lot of shots and did very well, especially against Millwall. Stoke have signed him. They took him up. So that's it. That's literally the only transfers in the Championship. Just those two. So not a lot of business being conducted. Now, moving on to this, we're going to finish with this from southwarknews.co.uk. A Mill fanning housing activist who died receives a rare reward. Southwark has only given a posthumous award 3 times before. I mentioned this guy before. I'll read the story. A Mill fan who set up a walking football team for people with cancer while suffering himself has now received a posthumous award. Tony Limp of Hall had been suffering from a terminal blood cancer called Hodgkin lymphoma for a couple of years. He died on Friday, July the 14th, 2023. Despite having an incurable illness, the avid Mill supporter never let that stop him from helping others. Before his diagnosis, he was playing walking football, similar to the traditional sort, except players aren't allowed to run. It's typically meant for older people with reduced mobility, but Tony believed it could benefit others too, and after being diagnosed with cancer, set up his own team. This year's Southwark Civic Awards, Tony was honoured with showing bravery and lifting others up in their darkest times, receiving the liberty of the old metropolitan borough of Southwark. The annual celebration recognises outstanding contributions from individuals in the borough. It is rare for the Mayor's office to give awards out to people who have died, having been received just by 3 others. Peter Moore, Southwark's town crier, Bernard Alger, Honorary Liberty of Bermondsey, and Folajimi Olabunmi Adewale, that fella that saved a drowning woman. He saved her and then drowned himself. You may have read that story in the Southern News. Tony's loving widow and Liberal Democrat councillor Maria Limp of Hall collected the award on behalf of her late husband. On the eve of the ceremony, she was joined by people from Millwall and friends in what was an emotional evening. She told us how proud she was of him. Tony deserves this and more. He's worked so hard for the community. He was a housing activist for many years and a walking football and kicking cancer of late. We had a standing ovation, the only one in the evening. I'm so proud of my husband and I miss him dearly. His legacy lives on in the team he created and his loved ones. Councillor Naima Ali, a worshipful mayor of Southwark, said Tony Limp Hall was a local hero, inspiring so many others to become involved and stay active. Following a diagnosis of terminal illness, his legacy will undoubtedly live on through the walking football teams he formed and the friendships that were born out of them. Bestowing this honour on him posthumously is a fitting recognition of his invaluable contributions to the betterment of our borough right up until his sad loss last year. So there you go. And on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.